Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. If you haven't subscribed already, please do smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and share this video. Share the video on your Facebook page, your YouTube, your Facebook page, your WhatsApp groups, and just on wherever you can share the videos. Now, this video here, I'm gonna leave you to draw your own conclusions about this one. But to me, it's undeniable. I've already got a thumbs down for the video, but thank you very much anyway. That's not stopped me doing a video yet, and it never will stop me doing videos. So no matter how much you thumbs down, it's not stop me doing videos. So just putting that out there. So you might have seen it already. You've heard Wilder talk about the dent in his forehead. And well, let me take myself off camera for a second. Bring this up for you. Can I bring this up? There you go. That's the dent in the forehead. Okay, that is a dent in the forehead. Now I ask the question. This is the question I asked. It's been asked before. Now I think people would agree. Most people would agree that Mike Tyson is a much more noted puncher in the heavyweight division than Tyson Fury. And in none of Tyson Fury's fights, up to the Wilder fight, has he put dents in people's foreheads. Okay. Now, again, this is for you to do your own examination of it. So somebody said that's an end swell. That's what an end swell does. In that case, if that's an end swell, why is every other boxer in the world not got that mark on the side of their head? So, okay, fair enough. What I want you to do is to thank you so much. Appreciate it. What I want you to do, those of you that are interested, I want to give a massive shout out. Let me get this off the camera a second. I want to give a massive shout out to Boxing Ego. We're not one of these channels that will not give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Boxing Ego. I've been watching his channel for years. And let me put this up for you here so you can see it for yourself. Where are we now? Here it is. Check this out. So it's got the mark of the forehead, the same thing there. But if you go to Boxing Ego's channel now, and let me give you the link as well in the description box, it actually shows Deontay Wilder before he fought Tyson Fury in the second fight and after he fought Tyson Fury in the second fight. Let me give you the link here so you can all go and watch the video yourself. Right there. So I'm asking you all this question. This dent in the forehead. The dent in the forehead wasn't there before. And then the dent in the forehead's there post-fight. So Mike Tyson doesn't leave dents in people's foreheads. So even when the evidence is in front of certain people's faces, they won't accept it. But certainly the judge saw evidence and he made Wilder versus Fury 3. So you make your own choice up about this, but I certainly know in all of watching boxing, very few have I seen dents in people's foreheads pre-fight, and the only time I've seen people have any sort of injuries with lumps in their face is Margarito when he fought Cotto. There's one example there. Those same gloves that you'll see, those green gloves, they were caught maybe a week or two after the Tyson Fury fight with Wilder, and investigation went on about those same pattern gloves. And there was a guy who went into a fight and they did the investigation and they found that the guy who wore the same gloves had no padding in it. Yes. So evidence is out there. It's depending on how you perceive it to be. But dents on guys' side of the head is not common in boxing. It does. Eye sockets, maybe, torn retinas, broken nose, teeth, fine. Burst eardrum, okay. But this blood coming out the side of coming out the ear as well, it's just the case of you looking into it further. What would cause a fighter to have a dent at the side of their head? He certainly didn't have the side of that at the side of his head before he fought Fury in the second fight. So you tell me, has Fury suddenly become a huge power puncher? When did Fury have huge knockout power? In fact, one of those knockdowns he did have, this feet tripped with Wilder and Wilder went over. Go back and look at the tape. That's evident. So up to you. Check out the video, have a look at it yourself. Let me know what you think. The shape of the dent is unusual as well. This is what I'm saying, but the video is out there. As I said, the link is in the description box. Shout out to Boxing Ego for bringing this up. Check it out. All I can do is present the information. You will do what you want with it afterwards. You can thumb down the video, you can thumbs up the video. Either way, I don't care. I'm just presenting evidence. But I'll tell you something now. I'll tell you something right now. Let it be known that after this fight, if Tyson Fury is found guilty, his boxing career is over after July the 24th. Win or lose, his boxing career is over. Should he be found guilty after that fight, his boxing career is over. I'm telling you, you can't come back from this stuff. You just try and kill a man in the ring. If he's found guilty. Now I'm gonna say if he's found guilty. Right? But this ain't cool. This is not cool. You understand? You can have doubts, and then you have this. Check out the Boxing Ego video, and when you're finished, come back, leave your comments in the comment section, and you can let me know what you think. But it's not cool. It's not cool at all. Yes, Leif, it's not cool, bro. The shape of the dent is not good. But nobody wants to talk about it. They don't want to keep it hush-hush. But it's here. And the evidence will keep coming out. The evidence will keep leaking out for sure. But after the fight, after July the 24th, that's when it's all going to come out. Because then Wilder would have already got in the ring and got his man back in the ring, whether he gets revenge or not, in terms of whether he wins the fight or not. He gets his guy back in the ring. So if Tyson Fury is innocent, explain the dent in Wilder's forehead. Where did it come from? Somebody says it's the end swell. Well, in that case, every boxer who has end swell put on them. What is end swell doing on the side of the head? I thought end swell was for the eyes and to bring the swelling down. But what the hell is end swell doing on the side of a guy's head? What shape? How did that happen? And do you remember when the story came out where Tyson Fury was putting his hands in petrol? You remember that story that came out? Please don't be like the LDBC, bro. Fury would have been stripped and in court by now if he cheated. Now, let me break this down to you, brother. It doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. If Fury gets stripped and sent to court, and that happens, money's lost, and the opportunity to get revenge doesn't happen. So I'll tell you how this works out. Fury and Wilder fight. The rematch happens. The third fight happens. And after that, when money's been collected, that's done. Then's when they'll go. Why do you think Fury and Wilder have got this third fight? You've got 3 judges in America, or you've got a judge in America. You've got this big fight with lots of money towards Joshua and Fury. But yet somehow in America, and I'm not calling it a race card, I'm calling it as it is in America, a black man, as he said himself, against in the legal system, which isn't for black people or people of color in America. That's a fact. Goes in there and he wins the case. He wins his case. Let's say he turns to the judge and say, "Look at this. I want rematch. I want to fight this guy. Gaza, I want revenge. I want this opportunity." Mike Tyson, let me educate you. When Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield in the second time, Mike admitted that Holyfield was on PEDs. Mike could have gone to the court and said, "This guy's on PEDs." No, he fought him and made money fighting Evander Holyfield. You would give up 60, 70, 80 million to get a man stripped and sent to court. For what reason? Why would you do that? That doesn't even logically make sense. That's not how boxing works, my friend. That's not how boxing works. And again, this is not here say so. This is an interview I did on the channel with Stacey McKinley. So when you get the opportunity, do the interview, check the interview, and then hear what you have a listen to what he had to say, Stacey McKinley, on Mike Tyson saying that Evander Holyfield wasn't PEDs. When asked if Fury always gives some lame joke in response, yeah, well, it is what it is. People don't want to accept it. They don't want to expect. They don't want to accept that Fury may have cheated. They don't want to accept it. This guy who's been banned from boxing was out of boxing for 2 years for PEDs. People want to forget about that, like he's a saint somehow. Yet the fight when he got pulled up in the Christian Hammer fight, people talked about him in sparring and the gloves being tampered with the gloves. How many fighters do you know that you talk about putting their hands in petrol? I mean, this stuff it's becoming more and more clear and evident. It's not about the LDBC. It's about thinking about something. Hold on, let's put this evidence together. We're getting here. Fury in the first fight, everyone knows Fury's not a power puncher. How did he suddenly become a power puncher against Wilder in the second fight? Where the punch power come from? So I don't understand. I don't get it. We're using logic here. This isn't a case of Fury's a white man and Wilder's a black man. It's got nothing to do with that. The fact of the matter is, there's some things that happened in the fight that weren't right. Mike Tyson, one of the most ferocious punchers in heavyweight boxing. George Foreman, Ernie Shavers. When George Foreman hit Muhammad Ali with shots, did Muhammad Ali come out with a dent on the side of his head? Huh? Just pick sense from nonsense. Well, history is our best advisor. Look historically at fights. How many guys do you know that have their fall like that after a fight? So if you can explain to me, before a fight, there was no dent, and after a fight, there's a dent. The only other thing you could say is it was photoshopped. That's the only thing you can say. Again, check out the link in the description. I've just sent out. I'll see the link again. So I just like to pick sense from nonsense. So just check it out. Leave it to your own opinion what you think. But I've asked some questions there. Robert Garcia said he didn't look right. Evander Holyfield's come out and said stuff about Wilder. I said it myself. I've looked at the fight from the first round. The commentary's there. Wilder doesn't look right. His balance is off. He doesn't look right. So, and blood coming out of the ear. How many boxing matches have you seen where guys have got blood coming out of their ear? These are just things. If there were common occurrences, if in boxing there were fights where there was a like this eye socket thing, even that now is becoming a regular thing in boxing. And I asked the question, well, are we punching harder now? Are the gloves less protective now? Why is it there are more fighters who are having problems with the eye socket? Canelo's one of the guys who caused an eye socket issue. And Golovkin's another one who caused an eye socket issue. One for Brooke, one for now Saunders. And then you've got Joe Joyce. But with that situation with Daniel Dubois, he was literally taking jabs in his face from round one, in his eye all the time. He didn't block punches. So that's becoming more of a regular occurrence, the eye socket. But even then, we can go back in time and check that back not too far again. Before then, Gary Mason fighting Lennox Lewis, his eye being jabbed off, and Gary Mason having to semi-retire with a torn retina. Torn retinas are something that's known in boxing. Not only him, Sugar Ray Leonard had issues with torn retina. So we can at least track things back. But this dent at the side of the forehead, track it back in boxing history. Where is it? Where is this dent in the forehead? As I'm asking questions, that's all. I'm just asking questions. You're onto something in him. Fury doesn't know we're getting as close to any of those great punches you mentioned. He doesn't. He just doesn't. Fury has always been more of a back foot fight. In the first fight he fought, he always does. But in the first fight, in the 12th, after being knocked down, he pushed wider back, and that's when he knew, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense tactically. But I always said on this channel, if you're to beat Wilder, you've got to get onto the front foot, you've got to double the jab up, and you've got to push him onto the back foot. I've said that. Boxing sense, that makes sense. Not arguing with that. But what I'm arguing with is that dent in his forehead. So that what you're basically saying to me, that logic is that, okay, that means that every person that goes into a rematch that has sussed out the fight from the first fight, in the second fight, don't worry, they should suddenly become power punchers and have dents in foreheads. They should put dents in people's foreheads. How did that work out? That makes sense. The tactical bit I get, but the dent in the forehead is still not explained. Wilder couldn't punch going back, hard going back. Yeah, I get that. But that's fine. That's a technical thing. Get that. But that does not explain the dent in the forehead, my friend. Hence, he got pushed back for the whole second fight, knowing he's less likely to land a big swing with power. I get that. I understand that. That's given. That's boxing science. I get that. That I haven't got a problem with that. What I've got a problem is that dent on the forehead. I still don't get it. Something else to think about. When those great power punches land thudding shots, you would hear them shots over a crowd of thousands. Of course. I remember Azuma Nelson when he fought Jim McDonnell. Listen, broken jaws is another thing in boxing as well. That happens. Many fighters have had broken jaws and swellings. Evander Holyfield, when he fought Hassan Rahman, a big swelling on his forehead. I remember that Azuma Nelson hit Jim McDonnell with a left hook. It might have been the 5th or 6th round. He hit Masada the left hook. You could hear that left hook reverberate around the arena. It was. But Jim McDonnell speaks okay today. He didn't have a dent in his jaw. Do you understand? So I still don't get it. The difficulty of the glove gate situation is that there's enough of ambiguity that could go either way. But apparently other stuff we don't have was enough to convince an arbitration judge. This is what I'm saying. And then we get a comment like this. Why'd I got to play double head? I mean, really? Really? We're having a real debate, real conversation, articulating, people sharing their views, and then you've got this. Well, how old are you, Matt? Are you about 10 years old or what? So I can't get around fighters greater than Tyson Fury. Ernie Shavers was a murderous puncher. He never put dents in people's foreheads. George Foreman, he was rumored to have hit a cow with one punch and killed it. He never put a dent in Muhammad Ali's forehead. Mike Tyson, in all their big knockout punches, none of those guys got dents in their forehead. Deontay Wilder, a huge puncher, literally punches of all time. He's never put a dent in anyone's forehead. Even Sergey Lakovic, when he knocked him out and he was on the canvas, there was no dent in Lakovic's forehead. There's no dent in 2 fights with Luis Ortiz. In the first fight of Luis Ortiz, he hit Luis Ortiz and stopped him. In the rematch, he fought him. Luis Ortiz had no dent in his forehead. So you're talking about those are guys of big punches. Wilder, legendary puncher, just like Foreman. Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, but that's another. Vitaly's another situation altogether. Vitaly's with that match, that mat, but that's a different conversation for another day. But Vitaly Klitschko's murdered another big puncher. No, he got a dent on the side of their forehead. David Haye, big punching, cruiserweight, heavyweight, no dent on people's forehead. Inoue, big puncher, no dent in forehead. So Canelo, big puncher, no dent in someone's forehead. Golovkin, big puncher, no dent in someone's forehead. So this dent in the forehead business, I can't get my head around it. I still can't get my head around it. Okay, Wilder's slim guys, so it could be his bone structure and a camera angle that made it look worse, maybe. Don't look at the Boxing Ego video. It wasn't him who did it. He just said he gave credit to somebody else who got the photo. He put the two photos together. Wilder before the first fight, the second fight of Fury. Wilder after the second fight of Fury. And then Wilder a couple of days ago talking, and you can see the dent on his forehead. Now, either someone's photoshopped that and done a wicked job doing Photoshop, or bloody hell, Fury's cheated. So it's come down to either somebody's done a damn good job, which can be done, because today's technology, you can look exactly the same as somebody else, and you can look like them, you can sound like them, you can do a video that looks like them, and it can be fake. So, and there's that technology out there today. Fakeology, it's there, it's out there. You just need to go and research it. It's that, and it's been used before. So somebody could actually impersonate you just by standing behind a camera and shutting at your face, putting somebody else's face there, and imposing whoever's face it's going to be, and you speak and it looks just like them. So it can happen. So I'm not saying Photoshop is not a possibility, but if it's not Photoshop, then some serious questions need to be answered. That's what I'm saying. Look at the shot Wilder connected in Brazil. It literally went off like a gun shot and no dent at all. It just turned him into a vegetable. When Mike Tyson fought Mitch Grill in the street, the only reason Mitch had a damaged bone is that Tyson had a phone in his hand when he hit him. There you go. There's something there. Surely he'd be tested positive for C19 if he had it. But yes, Wilder did look very uneasy in his legs. Could it be because it was his biggest fight and nerves maybe? So wait, you think Wilder's more nervous fighting Tyson Fury than he was fighting Luis Ortiz? Luis Ortiz, a guy who has big punching knockout power. I don't get it. Why would you be nervous fighting a guy for a second time that you put down twice in a fight? That don't make any logical sense. But okay, that's how you think. COVID-19, possibly why he was unsteady. That's an idea. I agree with that. Could be COVID-19. But COVID-19 does not give you a dent at the side of your head. Dent in foreheads, I've only seen where people are using brass knuckles. Aha! And what in the US called chucks, which are two brass knuckles wielded together. Right. Now we're talking. No Photoshop in real-time video. Now we're talking. Margarita did permanent damage to Cotto with bad raps in the same in which Cotto's face was altered. He does not look like the same structurally. There we go there. Would be fascinating to get forensic doctor experience with post-mortem to look at his injury. Well, that would have happened. That would have happened. Wilder's brother came out and said that Fury put a dent in the side of his head. Because people have mocked Wilder, and I blame old media for this. I blame irresponsible reporting for this. I blame reckless reporting and the whole the world against Wilder and trying to character assassinate him. So they've done such a good job to try and character assassinate Deontay Wilder. If he was seriously hurt and seriously injured, people will take it for a joke. Do you understand? Tyson Fury talks about mental health. Nobody takes it as a joke. It's a serious matter. Deontay Wilder has been ridiculed left, right, and center. Ridiculed. Contract has proven to not have expired. The third fight is on. So why would this guy have to lie? That's the thing. Why did this guy have to lie? To me, it just seems to me that there's more to this. Let's see, say now. That came from trying to get the swelling down. So that came from trying to bring the swelling down. So why is it only a few days ago that's still there? Can you name me another boxer that fought a huge puncher that has come out with a swelling on the side of the forehead that's there 2 years later? 18 months later, that swelling is still there. 18 months later, it's 2 years. That's structural damage. You guys think it's just yesterday. It's 2 years ago, this fight. He's already talked to 2 doctors and got statements per himself and Tay Jones. There we go. I wouldn't be surprised if the arbitration judge was showing CAT scans and x-rays. That would have probably pushed the case over the edge in Wilder's favor. That's what I'm saying. Damning evidence. So, listen. Let me explain something to you. In the eyes of a racist, or the eyes of one who's biased, no amount of evidence in the world could convince people that Wilder was telling the truth. Think about it. Think about it. Shears is an ill-informed suspect troll. Yeah, well. How's Wilder cleared to fight with a dent in his head? How's Fury allowed to still fight causing that dent in the forehead? Can you explain to me, Mr. Shiz, for 1 second? I just wish you had a decent, I can't really take you seriously. However, I'm going to try and take you seriously and ask you a straight question. How many boxers do you know in the history of punchers come up with a dent in their forehead? And would you put Tyson Fury down as being one of the greatest heavyweight punchers of all time? Says, there was no dent in Wilder's head post-fight. Really? Okay, so it was Photoshop then. The more I think about it, the more I want to consider FOI requests to see if this fight can be accessed. I'm thinking about it myself. I thought the arbitration was down to a contracted third fight. That didn't happen. Okay, well, that's nice. But think about the amount of money that judge could have got for a fight between Fury and Joshua. The problem is with this arbitration is that Fury signed the contract. And going back to Fury again, it's not the first time he's tried to get out of a contract. He tried to get out. He got out the second fight with Klitschko, right? Then he tried to get out his dealings with his former manager or promoter, Mick Hennessy, and they had to settle out of court. Contract again. Doesn't honor contracts. Why did Fury not fight in December? Maybe he goes 12 rounds with an inferior opponent. Why did he not knock his opponent out? These questions you raised would have been magnified. Then have been, yeah, well, okay, the 12 rounds, the fight was meant to happen in December. Wilder had agreed to fight with Fury in December, but they knocked it on that fight was going to happen. But Arum didn't want the fight because it didn't have crowds. That was what Arum was going to do. Arum was trying to make the fight in a time where there was crowds, because at the time there was no crowds. So Arum said, you know what, we're going to not fight now. We'll fight sometime next year. Fury said, let's knock it on the head. Let's move on and fight somebody else because I haven't fought for so long. You know, he kept saying, let's knock it on the head. But he couldn't go nowhere because he was contracted to fight Wilder. And we told you back in December last year, that Fury would fight Wilder in 2021 in the summer. Coach Chris said it over and over again. And a lot of well-known YouTubers came on the channel and really gave it to Coach Chris. They haven't been seen since. I'm going to look at the video now of Wilder post-fight to see if it was indeed there or not. Do yourself a favor. Check the link that I just sent you. Check that link out and you can see for yourself. John O'Sullivan fought bare knuckles for decades and had no dents in his head. This heavily suggests something more other than a fist hit Wilder. Ingram, in your professional experience, how prevalent is glove tampering? Well, it's happened. We've got enough evidence. We've got Margarita. There's probably loads of fights where the gloves have been tampered with. Look, the great Muhammad Ali, and Angelo Dundee. The round where he got knocked out by Henry Cooper, who was massing around, and Cooper caught him with a left hook on the ropes. Dropped Ali. Ali was out. He was out. Went back to the corner. I think it was in London the fight happened. He went back to the corner, and Angelo Dundee slipped the glove. That's glove tampering. And Angelo Dundee slipped the glove to buy time so Ali could recover. Or as Henry Cooper would have knocked out Muhammad Ali. Go and look at the tape. Dundee slipped Ali's glove. So they had to give him time to repair the glove. And then Ali came back and finished whooping Cooper. So there you go. That's something right there. The plaster of Paris I've heard of before. The plaster in Margarita's glove broke Cotter's face. What about Wilder? There you go. It's it sort of has more of just a lack of padding, I think. True. The arbitration was strictly about the third fight. Nothing related to cheating allegations. What I mean is, have you ever seen cases where you or someone in camp caught it? I'm interested in how prevalent this is in UK boxing. The only thing I can talk to you about is where John McDermott talked about fighting Tyson Fury. Check the interview out. He talked about fighting Tyson Fury, and he didn't like the gloves. And they said to him that he has to fight Fury with them gloves. And McDermott said he was going to go home, literally walk out of the arena. So check that one out. In terms of this statement you've made here, I hesitate on confirming that, because we had an attorney in the room, Attorney Gibbs. So I'm hoping Attorney Gibbs returns at some point to clarify that statement you've made there. Go to BT Sports Boxing and pause the Fury Wilder 2 vid at 13.4. It's when Fury's hugging Wilder and it looks like there's a swelling that makes it look like a dent. Something tells me Ingram has more than he can say. Man, this stuff is serious. Versus not can. So, but 2 years on, the swelling is the dent is still there. That's the thing I'm concerned about. So please do look the video up. Again, I've just given some points there. So it's what you think. Yeah, but do check out that McDermott. When I listened to that McDermott interview, my jaw just dropped to hit the floor. And you start putting these things together. Oh, by the way, let's not forget that Steve Cunningham fight. Oh, Fury would never cheat in the ring. Let's go back to that Steve Cunningham fight where Fury held Cunningham with one hand and whacked him with the other hand. Forget about that fight. I think tampering like this is endemic in big fights. Bones don't dent. They don't dent, they just break, my friend. But Mecca Hackener's head is dented from a crash. There you go. And this has to do with the fact that there is not one overarching organization and year-round sanctioning bodies and VADA testing. And there's also that situation with the tainted beef or the cow, or what it was to do with with Fury and him leaving the UK because UCAD was after him. You remember all of that? And he said he'd never box in the UK again. There's that as well. There's just too many questions out there. Too many damn questions. But again, I can't say, yeah, Fury, but I can say the stuff that's coming out is certainly you'll know Angel. So I'll leave it as that. Again, check out the video. No need to do that. A handful of our boxers, the only ones signed up for year-round testing. There you go. There's the link in the description box. I'll send it again. Check it out. Shout out again to Boxing Ego. Check it out. You can decide what you think about it. But from what I saw, it didn't look good. But I'll leave it as that. Thank you for watching BWTM Sports, and don't forget to share the video, share it in WhatsApp groups, share it in Facebook groups, share it where you can, and show us some love. Thank you so much for debate. Did he do it? Didn't he do it? The debate rages on.